The phone shattered the quiet hum of the Brooklyn brownstone like a gunshot in the night. Alex? It's Mom. Don't hang up, please. I'm sick, baby. Real sick. I need you to come home. 15 years of silence. And those words clawed their way through the line, dragging up ghosts Alex had buried deeper than his father's grave. He dropped the receiver, his heart slamming against his ribs like it was trying to escape, while Elijah stirred in the bed behind him, murmuring sleepily about bad dreams. But this wasn't a dream. This was the reckoning Alex had run from since he was 10, suitcase in hand, watching his mother's taillights vanish into the Nevada desert. Alex Thompson stared at the cracked screen of his phone, the call log glowing like an accusation in the dim light of his Brooklyn apartment. It was 2:17 a.m., the kind of hour when the city outside felt like a distant memory, all muffled sirens and the occasional rumble of the F train. Elijah's arm draped over his waist from behind, warm and steady, the way it had been for the last 3 years. Their life here was a careful mosaic. Late-night shifts at the graphic design firm, brunches in Williamsburg with 2 strong mimosas, and stolen weekends in the Catskills where they'd hike until their legs burned and then collapse into each other under star-pricked skies. Elijah, with his easy laugh and those soulful brown eyes that crinkled at the corners, had been Alex's anchor since they'd met at a queer art collective in Bushwick. "You're my safe harbor," Elijah would whisper during their post-sex glow, tracing lazy circles on Alex's chest. But now, that harbor felt like it was cracking under the weight of a voice Alex hadn't heard since he was a kid. He'd hung up without a word, his throat too tight to form one. Sarah, Mom, sounded frail, her Midwestern lilt frayed at the edges, like an old cassette tape unraveling. "Cancer," she'd said. "Stage 4. I know I don't deserve it, but come to LA. There's things I need to say before." "Well, you know." Alex's fingers trembled as he pulled up the airline app, booking a red-eye to LAX on autopilot. He couldn't wake Elijah. Not yet. How do you explain a ghost rising from the dead? By dawn. The decision felt like a betrayal. Elijah woke to the scent of burnt coffee, padding into the kitchen in nothing but his boxers, his locks tied back in a messy bun. "Babe, what's with the suitcase?" His voice was soft, laced with that instinctive concern that made Alex's chest ache. Elijah was a teacher at a charter school in Harlem, the kind of guy who volunteered at the local LGBTQ center on weekends, always pushing Alex to confront his past. "Therapy, Alex. You've got to unpack that baggage before it unpacks you." Alex set down the mug, the ceramic warm against his palms. "My mom called. She's dying." In LA, the words hung there, heavy as the humidity rolling in from the East River. Elijah's face shifted, surprise, then a flicker of hurt he tried to mask with a nod. Sarah's abandonment was the scar tissue Alex poked at in quiet moments, the reason he flinched at commitment sometimes, even with Elijah. "She left when I was 10. Dad was already gone, heart attack, they said. Just poof. Gone." Alex's voice cracked, and Elijah pulled him close, chin resting on his shoulder. "You don't have to go alone," Elijah murmured, his breath tickling Alex's neck. "I'll take time off. We can make it a thing, road trip vibes after you see her." But Alex shook his head, pulling back just enough to meet those eyes. "I need to do this solo. Family shit. Old wounds." It was a lie wrapped in half-truth, but Elijah bought it, pressing a kiss to Alex's forehead that lingered too long, like he sensed the fracture lines. Call me every day. Okay. And remember, whatever she throws at you, you've got me. We're solid. The cab to JFK was a blur of yellow cabs and concrete canyons. Alex's playlist shuffling through the National's brooding anthems, fitting for the knot in his gut. He texted Elijah a heart emoji as the plane taxied, but the signal died with takeoff, leaving him suspended at 30,000 feet, untethered. LA. Sprawled below like a glittering lie when they descended. Palm trees slicing the smoggy sky, freeways snaking like veins pumped full of ambition and regret. Alex rented a beat-up Mustang at the airport, red, because why not lean into the cliché, and punched the address into GPS. A quiet street in Echo Park, the kind of neighborhood where bungalows huddled under jacaranda trees, purple blossoms carpeting the sidewalks like forgotten confetti. The house was smaller than he remembered from faded Polaroids, its stucco facade chipped, the front yard overgrown with bougainvillea that clawed at the chain-link fence. Alex killed the engine, his pulse thundering in his ears. What if she wasn't here? What if this was some cruel prank? A wrong number from a dying stranger? He grabbed the duffel from the trunk, packed light, like he might bolt, and climbed the steps, the wood creaking under his sneakers. The door swung open before he could knock, and there she was, Sarah, thinner than the photos in his wallet. Her once auburn hair now a silver-streaked bob framing hollow cheeks. But those eyes, hazel, just like his, lit up with a mix of terror and joy. Alex, she breathed, and then she was in his arms, frail bones under a loose cardigan that smelled of lavender and hospital antiseptic. He stiffened at first, the 10-year-old in him screaming to run, but then the dam broke. Sobs racked them both on that sagging porch, neighbors' sprinklers hissing in the background like indifferent applause. Inside, the living room was a time capsule. Faded band posters from the 90s, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, a sagging couch piled with Afghans, and on the mantel, a photo of Alex at 8, gap-toothed grin beside a man with David's broad shoulders and easy smile. His dad. Sarah pulled back, wiping her eyes with a tissue that fluttered like a white flag. God, you're so tall. And handsome. Just like. She trailed off, gesturing vaguely. Sit. I made tea. Or chamomile. Chemo makes everything taste like ass. Alex managed a watery laugh, sinking into the couch. The place hummed with late afternoon light filtering through lace curtains, dust motes dancing like memories. They talked in fits and starts, small talk at first. The weather, unseasonably warm. His job, designing album covers for indie bands. Her illness, ovarian, aggressive, 6 months tops. But the air thickened with the unspoken, the why of it all. Why she'd left that night in Reno, leaving him with his aunt in Ohio. Why no calls, no cards, just echoes. I was a mess. Alex, she said finally, cupping her mug like a lifeline. Your dad. After he died, I unraveled. Pills, booze, bad men. I thought you'd be better off without me dragging you down. Her voice trembled, but there was steel beneath it. The Sarah who'd once belted Springsteen in the kitchen while flipping pancakes. Alex wanted to rage, to demand the years back, but the sight of her, foreport peeking from her sleeve, choked it down. Instead, he reached for her hand, calloused from years waitressing, and squeezed. I'm here now. That's what matters. A knock at the door jolted them. Sarah brightened. That'll be Isaiah. He's been a godsend, helps with the meds, the errands. Come meet him. Alex stood, smoothing his shirt, as the door opened to reveal a guy about his age, carrying grocery bags like they weighed nothing. Isaiah. Tall, lean-muscled from what looked like manual labor, with sun-kissed skin, a fade haircut, and green eyes that snagged on Alex like a hook. He wore a faded Dodgers tee and jeans frayed at the hems, a silver chain glinting at his neck. Hey, Sarah. Got the ginger tea you wanted, helps with the nausea. His voice was low, warm, with a faint SoCal drawl that rolled like ocean waves. Sarah beamed. Isaiah. This is my son, Alex. From New York. Alex. Isaiah's. Well, he's family now. Lives next door. But he's here more than at his own place. Isaiah extended a hand, his grip firm, calluses rough against Alex's palm. Close. He smelled like citrus and clean sweat, and those eyes, damn, they held stories, flecks of gold catching the light. Heard a lot about you, Isaiah said, a half-smile tugging his lips. The prodigal artist returns. Alex's stomach flipped, an inexplicable spark igniting. All bad. I hope. They held the gaze a beat too long, Sarah chuckling obliviously as she bustled to the kitchen. Isaiah lingered, unloading bags, his movements efficient, graceful. She's tough, he said quietly. But this shit, it's eating her alive. You being here means everything. Dinner was takeout Thai from the corner spot, pad CEW and spring rolls, the spice cutting through the awkward silences. Sarah chattered about neighborhood gossip, the coyotes that prowled the hills at night, but Alex kept stealing glances at Isaiah, who sat across from him, knee brushing his under the table once, twice, accidental but electric. Elijah texted midway, miss you already. Send pics of the palm trees. Love you. Alex typed back a quick love you more, guilt twisting like lemongrass in his gut. That night, Alex crashed in the guest room, a narrow space with a twin bed and posters of old surf spots peeling from the walls. Sleep evaded him, the house settling around him with creaks and sighs. Around 3 a.m., he padded to the kitchen for water, the fridge humming like a heartbeat. A figure silhouetted against the moonlit window, Isaiah, nursing a beer on the back porch. Can't sleep either? Alex asked, sliding the door open. The air was cool, scented with night-blooming jasmine. Isaiah glanced over, offering a nod. Ghosts. You. Same. They sat on the steps, shoulders inches apart, the city lights twinkling below like fallen stars. Isaiah talked first, grew up in Echo Park, lost his dad young to a construction accident, worked as a mechanic now but dreamed of opening a community center for queer kids. This town's got heart, but it's hard out here sometimes. Folks pretend we're all golden, but, he shrugged, vulnerability cracking his easy facade. Alex opened up too, words spilling like they'd been damned too long. The loneliness after Sarah left, coming out in college amid hookups that felt like Band-Aids, finding Elijah like a lighthouse in the fog. He's steady. Real. But being back here, it's like I'm 10 again, waiting for the door to open. Isaiah's hand landed on his shoulder, warm and grounding. You're not that kid anymore, Alex. You're here. That's brave as hell. Their eyes met again, and time stretched, the space between them humming with possibility. Alex pulled away first, heart racing, mumbling goodnight as he retreated inside. In bed, He scrolled Elijah's Instagram, smiling selfies from school, kids painting rainbows, and whispered apologies to the dark. The next days blurred into a rhythm. Mornings with Sarah, her chemo appointments at Cedars-Sinai where she'd grip his hand during the infusions, cracking jokes about the poison milkshakes. Afternoons exploring LA. With Isaiah, hikes in Griffith Park where they'd sweat under the relentless sun, sharing earbuds with Hosier's gravelly confessions, drives along Mulholland where the sprawl below looked conquerable. Isaiah was magnetic, his laugh booming like thunder, stories laced with quiet wisdom. One evening, as they grilled burgers in the backyard, Sarah napping inside, Isaiah turned serious. Your mom's got stories, man. About your dad. Things she wants to tell you, but she's scared. Alex flipped a patty, grease spitting. Scared of what? I've got no illusions left. You'd be surprised. Isaiah's gaze lingered, charged. That night, after Sarah retired early, they cracked open a bottle of mezcal on the porch, the agave burning sweet down Alex's throat. Laughter turned to confessions. Isaiah's first crush on a high school wrestler, the coming-out fistfight with his uncle. Alex shared the terror of his own, kissing a boy behind the bleachers at prom, the whispers that followed. The air thickened, mezcal loosening tongues and inhibitions. Isaiah leaned in, breath mingling. Your trouble, Thompson, he murmured, lips brushing Alex's ear. Alex's pulse thundered. Elijah's face flashed, those crinkled eyes, the promise of home. But the pull was magnetic, inevitable. Their kiss was slow at first, tentative, then hungry, hands fisting shirts, the world narrowing to the taste of salt and smoke. Isaiah's body was solid, unyielding, a contrast to Elijah's softer edges, and Alex drowned in it, guilt a distant siren. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. Fuck, Alex whispered. I have a boyfriend. Isaiah pulled back, eyes shadowed. I know. But damn, Alex, he stood, raking a hand through his fade. Get some sleep. We'll figure it out. Alone. Alex curled under the covers, phone buzzing with Elijah's goodnight call. Everything okay? Elijah's voice, warm through static. Yeah, Alex lied, tasting Isaiah on his lips. Just missing you. The lie settled like ash. And as the coyotes howled in the hills, Alex wondered if home was a place you could ever really return to, or just a ghost you chased forever. The guilt hit Alex like a hangover the next morning, mezcal's bite lingering in his temples as he shuffled into the kitchen. Sarah was at the breakfast table, nibbling dry toast, her color better after a decent night's sleep. Morning. Handsome, she said, patting the chair beside her. Isaiah was nowhere in sight, probably at the shop, wrenching on some customer's Beamer, but his absence felt like a vacuum, pulling at Alex's resolve. He poured coffee, black and scalding, and sat, forcing a smile. You look good today, Mom. It wasn't a lie. The hollows under her eyes had softened, and she hummed along to the radio's classic rock station, Tom Petty crooning about running down a dream. But dreams felt slippery now, Alex's own unraveling thread by thread. Sarah set down her fork, fingers twisting the napkin in her lap. We need to talk, Alex, about why I left. Properly. Her voice was steady, but her eyes darted to the mantel, to David's photo. Alex nodded, bracing. He'd rehearsed this in therapy sessions with Dr. Ramirez, the what-ifs and YMES, but hearing it raw was different. It started with your dad, she began, the words measured, like stepping stones over a chasm. David was everything. Charismatic, funny, the guy who could fix a carburetor blindfolded and still make you laugh till you cried. We met in '78, at a Grateful Dead show in San Diego. Free love, you know? But he had secrets. Buried deep. She paused, sipping water, ice clinking like tiny accusations. I found out he was seeing someone. A man. Frank. They'd been together since college. On and off. David loved me. God, he did, but he loved Frank too. Bisexual. I guess they'd call it now. Back then, it was just shame. Alex's mug froze halfway to his lips. Dad? The man who'd taught him to throw a curveball, who'd belt show tunes in the shower. He cheated? With a guy. The words tasted bitter, rewriting history in neon strokes. Sarah nodded, tears welling. I confronted him. Screamed, threw plates. He begged forgiveness, swore it was over. But it wasn't. Frank was part of him, woven in. And after David died, massive coronary at 42, I fell apart. Blamed myself, blamed him, drowned in it all. Left you with Aunt Linda because I couldn't be the mom you deserved. Not then. The kitchen spun, Alex's mind reeling. Elijah had always said family secrets were landmines. But this, it explained the silences. The way Dad's eyes would glaze over at certain songs. The cologne that wasn't his on a jacket once. Why tell me now? Alex's voice was rough, edged with the betrayal he'd carried for years. Because of Frank. Sarah's whisper cut sharper than any knife. And his son. Isaiah breezed in then, grease-streaked from the garage, carrying a paper bag of fresh tamales from the taqueria down the block. Fuel for the troops, he announced, planting a kiss on Sarah's cheek. Familial, easy. But his eyes met Alex's, a question flickering there from last night's indiscretion. Alex looked away, heat crawling up his neck. They ate in the living room, TV droning a rerun of The Golden Girls for Sarah's comfort. Isaiah sprawled on the floor, back against the couch, his shoulder brushing Alex's knee. The tamales were spicy, pork and masa melting on the tongue, but each bite stuck. Sarah dozed midway, head lolling, and Isaiah muted the TV, turning with that half-smile. Rough morning. You could say that. Alex kept his voice low, glancing at his mom. She dropped a bomb. Dad had an affair. With a dude. Isaiah's expression shifted, sympathy laced with something guarded. Shit, man. That's heavy. He hesitated. Then, Frank. That was his name. Alex nodded, the coincidence prickling. Yeah. How'd you? The front door buzzer cut him off. A delivery guy with Sarah's meds from the pharmacy. Isaiah jumped up to sign, leaving Alex to stew. Frank. The name echoed, a puzzle piece hovering just out of reach. When Isaiah returned, Alex pressed. You know him? Not personally. But Echo Park's small. Old-timers talk. Isaiah sat closer now, thigh pressing against Alex's. The contact was deliberate, a spark to dry tinder. Listen. About last night. Don't. Alex's whisper was fierce, but his body betrayed him, leaning in. Elijah. He's good. Real good. This place. It's messing with my head. Isaiah's hand found his knee, thumb tracing a circle that sent shivers racing. I get it. But that kiss wasn't nothing. His voice dropped, husky. I felt alone here too long. Alex. Watching Sarah fight, burying my own crap. You show up, and it's like air. The pull was visceral, Alex's resolve fraying. He glanced at Sarah, sleeping peacefully, then back to Isaiah, those green eyes, earnest and hungry. One more touch, he thought, just to know. Their lips met again, softer this time, exploratory, Isaiah's fingers threading through Alex's hair. It was wrong, a theft in the daylight, but it felt like coming home. Sarah stirred then, coughing, and they sprang apart like guilty teens. Water, Alex croaked, fleeing to the kitchen. His phone buzzed, Elijah, FaceTime. Heart hammering, Alex answered in the hallway, forcing brightness. Hey, babe. Elijah's face filled the screen, tired but smiling from their bed. Sheets rumpled. God, I missed that face. How's LA? Treating you? Mom okay? Alex leaned against the wall, Isaiah's taste lingering. Yeah, better. We're bonding. The lie slithered out. Easy now. They talked for 20 minutes. Elijah's day, a kid finger-painting a pride flag. Plans for Alex's return, dinner at that new ramen spot in the village. Hurry back, Elijah said, blowing a kiss. This bed's too big without you. I will. Alex ended the call, sliding down the wall, head in hands. What the hell was he doing? The afternoon dragged them to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Sarah's idea. A ritual she'd started during remissions. David's not here, she explained in the car. Isaiah driving his battered Tacoma, Alex shotgun with Sarah in back. Cremated, ashes scattered in the desert. But this place, it's peaceful. Legends underfoot. The cemetery sprawled like a manicured dream, palm-shaded paths winding past marble mausoleums where Judy Garland and Rudolph Valentino slumbered. They wandered, Sarah leaning on Alex's arm, pointing out plaques. That's where they filmed Day of the Locust. Isaiah trailed behind, snapping photos on his phone. Candid shots of Sarah laughing at a squirrel, Alex's profile against the setting sun. For the memories, he said when Alex caught him. At a bench by a koi pond, Sarah sat, winded. Frank's buried here, she said abruptly. Section 12. Died '09. AIDS complications. The words landed like stones in still water. Alex froze. You kept in touch. Not at first. After David, I hated him. But time softens edges. Frank reached out years later, when I was cleaning up. Sober, working doubles at the diner. He was sick too, but kind. Regretful, Sarah's eyes misted. He told me about Isaiah. Their son. Alex's world tilted. There. What? Sarah squeezed his arm. David and Frank. They wanted a family. After me. Surrogate in '99. Isaiah was born a month after you turned 5. Your half-brother, Alex. Same dad. The bench spun, Alex's breath seizing. His Isaiah stepped up then, oblivious, holding out a water bottle. You good, Sarah? His eyes flicked to Alex, concern deepening at the pallor. Sarah nodded, but Alex stared, Pieces slamming together. The familiarity in Isaiah's jawline. The echo of Dad's grin in his smile. The kisses. The touches, oh God. Brother. The word choked out. Bro. Isaiah's face drained of color. What? Sarah's confession spilled then. The full torrent. David's double life. The love that spanned decades. The secret family built in shadows. Isaiah had known Sarah through neighborhood lore, volunteered to help when her cancer returned, never connecting the dots until now. Frank told me stories, Isaiah whispered, sinking onto the grass. About a guy named David who broke his heart but gave him the world. I never knew. Alex bolted, weaving through headstones, chest burning. Brother. The word ricocheted, turning desire to poison. He collapsed by a fairy tale pond, fish darting like accusations. Isaiah found him minutes later, dropping beside him, hands hovering. Alex! Wait! Don't! Alex recoiled. The betrayal threefold. Dad's lie. Mom's silence. His own wandering heart. You're my brother. How do we unring that? Isaiah's voice broke. We don't. But it doesn't change who we are now. Tears tracked his cheeks, mirroring Alex's. Sarah approached slowly, the three of them a fractured tableau against the twilight. Back home, silence reigned. Alex locked himself in the guest room, phone clutched like a grenade. Elijah's text lit the screen, thinking of you. Can't wait to hold you. Alex typed I love you, deleted it, typed I fucked up. Sent nothing. The night stretched endless, secrets festering like open wounds. Dawn broke over Echo Park like a reluctant apology, smog-hazed light filtering through the blinds to stripe Alex's rumpled sheets. He hadn't slept, couldn't, with the revelation churning like bad acid in his veins. Brother. The word was a curse now, twisting every memory of Isaiah's touch into something profane. The kiss on the porch, the brush of thighs at dinner, the way Isaiah's laugh had coaxed Alex's own from hiding, they were tainted, retroactively wrong. And beneath the revulsion coiled something darker. Relief, maybe, that the attraction could be shelved as taboo. Or was it grief? For the what if that never was? He dressed quietly, jeans, a faded Ramones tee from his duffel, and slipped into the kitchen. Sarah was up, brewing decaf, her robe belted loose over pajamas dotted with chemo bruises. Morning, she said softly, no expectation in her tone. Alex nodded, pouring cereal he had no appetite for, the cornflakes soggy by the time he pushed the bowl away. We should talk, Sarah ventured, sliding into the chair opposite. Her hands, veined and fragile, folded on the table. About David. And Frank. I owe you that. Alex's jaw tightened. You owe me 15 years, Mom. But sure. Let's unpack the family tree over breakfast. Sarcasm dripped. A shield. But she didn't flinch. It wasn't betrayal. Not like you think. Sarah's eyes, so like his, held steady. David loved us fiercely. But he was split, living two lives because the world didn't allow more. 80s. Alex. AIDS crisis hitting hard. Queers dying in shadows. He hid Frank to protect us all, me from scandal, you from whispers. When I found out, it shattered me. But I forgave him, in the end. Too late, though. Alex traced the tables with grain, splinters catching his nail. And Isaiah? You knew. All this time. Sarah nodded, guilt etching deeper lines. Frank told me when Isaiah was little. If anything happens to me, watch out for him. I kept tabs from afar, holidays, birthdays through mutual friends. When Isaiah moved next door last year, it was fate. Or karma. She reached for his hand. He let her take it. I wanted to tell you sooner, but you were building a life. East Coast boy. Successful. In love. Didn't want to drag you back. In love. The phrase stung. Elijah's face superimposing over the cereal bowl. His gentle teasing. The way he'd surprise Alex with mixtapes curated from vinyl dives. 3 years of Sundays in bed. Debating Call Me by Your Name adaptations over takeout falafel. How could Alex face him now? With Isaiah's phantom lips branding his skin? The front door clicked open. Isaiah entering with his toolbox. Coveralls zipped low to reveal a glimpse of tattooed collarbone. A compass rose, inked for Finding North. He froze at the sight of them. Green eyes, David's eyes, flicking between. I fixed the porch light. Bulb was out, awkward, like they were strangers at a funeral. Sarah stood, hugging him briefly. Thanks, kiddo. I'm heading to the center later, yoga for survivors. You too. Play nice. She winked, but it fell flat, leaving the kitchen echoing. Isaiah lingered by the sink, washing grease from his hands, suds swirling down the drain like unspoken words. Alex watched, the domesticity absurd. We can't do this, he said finally, voice low. Pretend it's normal. Isaiah dried his hands, turning slow. What's normal? Alex, my whole world's flipped too. Our dad kept this from me. Frank raised me solo. Stories of an old friend who bailed. Now I know why. Pain raw in his voice. But beneath it, that pull, the shared blood making the attraction sharper. Forbidden fruit dangling. Alex stood, closing the distance despite himself. It changes everything. The kisses. Whatever that was. It's incest. Man. Wrong. Isaiah's laugh was bitter. Short. Half-brother. Different moms. Same sperm donor. Biology's a bitch. But feelings. He stepped closer. Heat radiating. They don't give a damn about DNA tests. His hand cupped Alex's jaw. Thumb brushing stubble. And Alex's breath hitched traitor body. They were inches apart, the air crackling, when Alex jerked back. No. I have Elijah. He's waiting for me, trusting me. The words were a lifeline, but Isaiah's eyes darkened, hurt flashing. Elijah. Right. The perfect boyfriend. Isaiah's tone edged sharp. Jealousy? You think I don't get it? I've had guys flings. Mostly. Never stuck because this town's full of ghosts. But you're real. And now we're tied. Blood and all. The doorbell rang, shattering the tension. A courier with Sarah's mail. Isaiah grabbed it, retreating to the porch with a muttered later. Alex exhaled, shaky, and dialed Elijah. Voicemail. Hey, babe. Miss you. Things are intense. Call me when you can. He hung up, the lie of omission growing roots. The day fractured from there. Alex drove aimlessly, Mustang hugging the curves of Laurel Canyon. Radio blasting Prince's Purple Rain. Ironic. Purple like the jacaranda blooms littering the road. He ended up at Runyon Canyon, hiking the fire road where influencers posed for selfies amid the scrub. Sweat poured, legs burning, but it cleared nothing. At the summit, overlooking the basin's haze, his phone buzzed. Elijah. Alex, finally. School's out. Kids drove me nuts today. Elijah's laugh. Tinny through the speaker. Spill. How's mom? Find any Hollywood magic. Alex sank onto a boulder, the city sprawling indifferent below. Mom's. Complicated. Told me stuff about dad. Big stuff. He hesitated, the truth a boulder on his tongue. He was bi. Had a whole other life. Silence. Then Elijah's soft intake. Whoa. Babe, that's... I'm sorry. Does it change how you see him? Changes everything. Alex's voice cracked. And there's this guy, Isaiah. Helping mom. Turns out he's... family. Half-brother. Elijah whistled low. Plot twist. Okay. That's wild. But hey. Silver lining. New brother to rib you about your bad dance moves. His lightness pierced. A reminder of normalcy. Yeah. Alex forced a chuckle. I kissed him. Before I knew. The line went dead quiet. Wind whistling through the phone. You. What? Once. Twice. It was stupid. Impulsive. The pull was there. And then the bomb dropped. Alex's words tumbled. Confession cathartic. I stopped it. But Elijah. Stop. Elijah's voice hardened. Hurt bleeding through. You're there 3 days. And you're making out with your new brother? While I'm here. Holding down the fort. Loving you. Static crackled. Or was that tears? I trusted you. Alex. Said go. Face your demons. Not create new ones. It's not like that. The secret shook me. Us. Everything. Alex pleaded. But Elijah was already retreating. We need space. Figure your shit out. Call when you're ready to come home. For real. Click. The line went silent, leaving Alex with the buzz of bees and distant traffic. He hiked down in a daze, arriving home to find Sarah and Isaiah prepping dinner. Chili from a family recipe. Frank's. Apparently. The irony burned. They ate in strained quiet, spoons clinking bowls, Sarah chattering to fill voids. Frank made the best chili. Secret ingredient, cocoa powder. Isaiah's got the touch now. Isaiah nodded, eyes on his plate. But later, washing dishes side by side, he bumped Alex's hip. Heard you on the phone. Elijah. Alex scrubbed a pot harder. Yeah. Told him. About us, the kiss. Isaiah's sponge stilled. And he needs time. We both do. Alex met his gaze, the sink steam fogging between them. This, whatever it could have been, it's dead. But your family. My brother. That means something. Isaiah's smile was sad. Genuine. Yeah. Brothers. He dried a plate, shoulders relaxing fractionally. Doesn't make the ache go away. But we'll build from here. That night, Alex lay awake, replaying Elijah's voice, the crack of betrayal. He texted, I'm sorry. Coming home soon. I choose us. No reply. Across the thin wall, Isaiah's room was dark, but Alex imagined him staring at the ceiling too. Two halves of a broken hole navigating the shards. Sarah's chemo the next day was brutal, her retching in the bathroom, Alex holding her hair, Isaiah fetching cool cloths. In the waiting room, fluorescent buzz overhead, Isaiah squeezed Alex's shoulder. We're in this. Together, for the first time, felt true, not romantic, but solid. Brotherly. As Sarah emerged, pale but smirking, beat that round. Fuckers. Alex hugged her tight. I love you, Mom. No more secrets. She nodded, tears falling. Promise. But secrets had a way of resurfacing, like bones from desert sands. That evening, rifling through old boxes in the garage for Sarah's comfort items, Alex found it. A lockbox, key dangling from the lock like an afterthought. Inside, letters David to Frank, yellowed pages inked with longing. You are my North Star, my hidden heart. For Alex, for Isaiah, for the life we can't claim, I'll love you quiet, but fierce. Alex's hands shook. Reading of stolen weekends in Big Sur. Dreams of a world where they could walk hand in hand. No mention of Sarah's pain. The collateral. He slammed it shut. But the damage was done. Dad humanized. Flawed. Loved. Isaiah found him there. Dust motes swirling. What did you dig up? Truth. Alex handed over a letter. Isaiah read. Face crumpling. Our dads. They were brave. In their way. Isaiah's voice thickened. Doesn't excuse the lies, but explains the love. They sat on the garage floor amid cobwebs and oil cans, passing the letters like contraband. Laughter bubbled up. Wry stories of David's bad poetry. Frank's killer ribs. For hours, they talked. The bond shifting from electric to earthen. Roots digging deep. Elijah called at midnight. Voice tentative. Hey, hey, Alex's heart clenched. I miss you. Miss you too. Pause. Tell me about him. Isaiah. Alex did. The brother he'd never known. The man who'd bridged past and present. No glossing the kiss. The confusion. Elijah listened. Then, sounds like family worth keeping. And us? We talk it through. Therapy. Whatever. But come home. Alex. We're worth it. Relief flooded. Tears pricking. Flight tomorrow. Wait for me. Always. As Alex hung up, Isaiah knocked softly. All good. Yeah. Alex pulled him into a hug. Chaste. Fierce. Thanks. Bro. Isaiah hugged back. Solid. Anytime. In that moment, the world righted. Secrets no longer shaking but shaping. A new foundation. Cracked but standing. The flight back to JFK was a red-eye purgatory. Alex wedged in a middle seat between a snoring businessman and a toddler kicking the tray table like it owed her money. He'd said goodbyes that morning in fractured sunlight. Sarah on the porch, bundled in her cardigan. Isaiah hovering with coffee mugs. Come back soon, she'd whispered, hugging him so tight her bones creaked. And bring that boy of yours. Elijah. I want to meet the one who makes you smile like David did. Isaiah had clapped his shoulder. Grin lopsided. Stay safe, little bro. Text when you land. We'll do Dodgers games. Beach days. Family shit. The word family landed warm now. No longer a grenade. Alex nodded, throat tight, and drove off with the Mustang's top down. Wind whipping tears he blamed on allergies. LA. Shrank in the rear view, a glittering mirage yielding to the vast American middle. Flatlands giving way to Rockies dusted white. Then the humid sprawl of the Midwest. He texted Elijah en route to the airport, "Wheels up soon. Can't wait to see you." A heart emoji, simple as promise. No reply yet. Elijah's shift at the school, probably corralling third graders through art class. Alex pictured it. Paint-smeared aprons, Elijah's patient voice coaxing masterpieces from chaos. Stability. Home. Turbulence jolted him mid-flight, the plane bucking like a spooked horse, and in that lurch, doubts resurfaced. What if Elijah couldn't forgive? The kiss with Isaiah loomed, a stain no amount of confession could bleach. Alex scrolled their texts. 3 years of inside jokes, pineapple on pizza, grounds for divorce. Vacation pics that rainy week in Portland, bundled under umbrellas. The night Elijah proposed they move in, not marriage. Not yet, but us, permanent. Solid. But cracks showed under pressure. Didn't they? He landed at dawn. The airport a fluorescent limbo of rolling suitcases and stale pretzels. Elijah waited at arrivals, leaning against a pillar in his corduroy jacket, locks loose over shoulders, holding a sign scrawled in Sharpie. Thompson. Welcome home. Trouble. Alex's chest cracked open at the sight, and he dropped his duffel, launching into Elijah's arms. They clung. Airport bustle fading to white noise. Elijah's cologne, sandalwood and citrus, grounding him like earth after storm. "Missed you," Elijah murmured into his hair, pulling back to scan his face. "You look different. Lighter. Haunted." "You mean?" Alex kissed him then, soft and sure, tasting salt from unshed tears. Elijah deepened it, hand at Alex's nape, a public claim that turned heads but neither cared. "Let's get out of here." The cab ride to Brooklyn was quiet intimacy. Fingers laced, heads on shoulders, the city awakening in grays and golds. Their brownstone waited, stoop swept, window boxes blooming defiant against November chill. Inside, it smelled of sage and last night's stir-fry, Elijah's doing. "Unpack later," Elijah said, tugging Alex toward the bedroom. "First, you. All of you." They tumbled into bed, clothes shedding like old skin, bodies reconnecting with urgent grace. Elijah was reverent, mapping Alex's freckles with lips and tongue, whispering mine against collarbones. Alex arched, gasping, Isaiah's ghost banished by Elijah's weight, his rhythm slow builds to crashing waves. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Elijah traced the constellation of Alex's ribs. "Tell me everything." From the beginning, Alex did, unspooling the week like thread. The call, the reunion's raw ache, Dad's double life laid bare. Elijah listened, chin propped on hand, brow furrowing at the affair, softening at Isaiah's reveal. The kisses came last, halting. It was magnetic, before I knew. Then, bomb. Stopped cold. Elijah's silence stretched, fingers stilling. Magnetic. Ha! Hurt flickered, but he exhaled slow. "I get it, new place. Old wounds ripping open. Vulnerability's a bitch. Makes us stupid." He sat up, sheets pooling at waist. "I serious. But trust. Alex, that's our bedrock. You chose to tell me. That's something." Alex nodded, shame coiling. "I chose you. Always." They talked till noon, Elijah sharing his own fears. "What if you find LA suits you better? Sun and space over this concrete jungle?" Alex vowing therapy together, Double sessions if needed. We're messy humans, Elijah said, kissing his temple. But we're our mess. Lunch was delivery bagels, slathered in lox and cream cheese, eaten cross-legged on the floor amid scattered mail. Normalcy, reclaimed. But the pull west lingered, a low hum. A week later, Sarah called voicemail, her voice brighter. Alex, Isaiah and I were thinking Thanksgiving. You and Elijah, if you're up for it. No pressure. Love you. He played it for Elijah over dinner, Thai basil chicken steaming between them. Elijah chewed thoughtfully. Go. Take me. Let's meet the family properly. You sure? Loaded. He grinned, foot nudging Alex's under the table. Loaded's my middle name. Besides, I've got recipes to defend. My mac and cheese versus Isaiah's tamales? Game on. Alex laughed, tension easing. But dreams that night were fevered. Dad and Frank dancing in a smoky bar, Isaiah's hand in his, Elijah fading to shadow. He woke sweating, Elijah's arm heavy across his chest. Bad one, Elijah mumbled. Yeah. Ghosts. Exorcise 'em with me. Elijah's hand wandered south, sleepy seduction turning to passion. Morning light slanted gold, their bodies a tangle of limbs and laughter. Elijah's teasing. Missed this view. Alex's retorts. Shut up and kiss me. It was healing, stitches pulling tight. Work pulled Alex back. Deadlines for a queer punk band's EP cover. Sketches of shattered hearts and electric guitars. He texted Isaiah daily. Mom eating? Dodgers won. Your curse lifted? Replies came quick. Brotherly banter. She's sassing the nurses. And yeah, karma. No undercurrent now. Just ease. Thanksgiving loomed. Tickets booked. Elijah packed with military precision. Elijah's famous cornbread dressing. Rainbow socks for solidarity. At the airport, Alex's anxiety spiked. Palms damp. What if it's weird? Half-brother hugs and all. Elijah squeezed his hand. Weird is our brand. Own it, LA. Welcome them with Santa Ana winds. Dry and restless. Palms rattling like maracas. The Mustang waited. Isaiah's loner. Keys in the visor. Sarah's bungalow glowed festive. String lights twinkling. The scent of turkey wafting as they pulled up. She burst out, healthier than Alex remembered, hugging Elijah like long-lost kin. Look at you. Tall drink of water. Elijah flushed. Charming. Ma'am Sarah, pleasure. Heard you're the chili queen. Isaiah emerged next. Apron dusted in flour. Grin wide. Elijah, right? The one with the moves. He pulled Alex into a bear hug first. Brief. Backslapping. Then shook Elijah's hand. Firm. Welcome to the madhouse. Inside, chaos reigned. Sarah basting the bird. Isaiah mashing potatoes with aggressive glee. Elijah commandeering the pie crust like a general. Alex chopped onions, tears blurring, but they were cathartic. Stories flowed over wine, Elijah's Harlem tales, Isaiah's garage legends, Sarah's dead tour escapades. Dad and Frank wove in gently, toasts to the men who loved big, laughter at David's failed attempts at disco dancing. Dinner was a feast, table groaning under platters, candles flickering shadows. Elijah's mac was creamy perfection, Isaiah's tamales, spicy revelation. Truce, Elijah offered, fork raised. Isaiah clinked his beer. For now. Later, porch cigars, Isaiah and Alex rocking in Adirondacks. Elijah inside helping Sarah with dishes. "He's solid," Isaiah said, exhaling smoke rings. "Good for you." "Yeah. He is." Alex watched Elijah through the window, laughing at something Sarah said. "You? Anyone special?" Isaiah shrugged, stars pricking the sky above. "Nah. Focusing on the center, got funding for after-school art for queer youth." "Dad would have loved it." "David," Alex corrected softly. "Our dad." Isaiah nodded, the shared name a bridge. "Yeah. Ours." Elijah joined them then, slipping onto Alex's lap, arm around shoulders. "Room for one more?" The three men sat, easy triangle, talking till embers died. Dreams, fears, the absurd beauty of blood ties and chosen loves. That night, in the guest room, Elijah and Alex made love slow, whispers and sighs, the house's hum a lullaby. "This," Elijah breathed, tracing Alex's jaw, "this is home." Wherever. Alex held him closer, secrets settled like silt, world steady. But life, American style, didn't do tidy. A month later, back in Brooklyn snow, Sarah's call came at 4 a.m. "It's bad. Alex. Hospice. Come if you can." The flight was a blur. Elijah beside him, hand clasped through turbulence. L.A. greeted grim, rain lashing the Mustang, wipers slapping rhythm. Isaiah met them at the door, eyes red-rimmed but steady. "She's asking for you." Sarah lay propped in bed, monitors beeping soft, the room scented lavender. "My boys," she rasped, smiling weak as they gathered, Alex and Elijah on one side, Isaiah on the other. "All of you." "Perfect." She told stories then. Morphine loose. David's first kiss with Frank under a harvest moon. The Saget's laugh during Isaiah's birth. Her own redemption in AA meetings under fluorescent buzz. "Loved messy," she said. "But love true. Promise me. Live that way." "We will," Alex choked, Elijah's hand in his, Isaiah nodding fierce. She slipped away at dawn, rain easing to mist, her hand going slack in Alex's. The room stilled, grief a tide pulling them under. Isaiah broke first, shoulders shaking. Alex pulled him close, Elijah joining, the three a knot of sobs and solace. Funeral was small Echo Park Presbyterian. Pews half full with neighbors. Folks. Queer allies from Isaiah's center. Eulogy by Isaiah. Voice cracking. "Sarah taught us forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's building on ruins." Alex spoke too. Of reunions and revelations. Elijah's arm his spine. After. At the cemetery, Hollywood forever again. Plot beside Frank's. They scattered ashes in the pond, koi rising like blessings. To new beginnings, Elijah toasted with flasks of mezcal. Back home, boxes of Sarah's life divvied, letters to Alex, recipes to Isaiah, a quilt for Elijah, for your nest. The house sold quick, proceeds split, Isaiah's center, Alex and Elijah's wedding fund, whispered plans over late-night wine. Winter thawed to spring. Alex's designs bolder. Elijah's classes expanding to include family legacy projects. Visits to L.A. became ritual, Dodgers games with Isaiah. Beach bonfires where they'd toast absent fathers. One night, under Pacific stars, Isaiah raised a beer. To secrets that set us free. Alex clinked, Elijah beside. To family, blood, chosen, all of it. The world, shook once, stood firmer now, cracked gold, kintsugi strong. 2 years blurred into the relentless churn of American life. Seasons marking time like chapters in a dog-eared novel. Alex and Elijah's wedding was a June affair in Prospect Park. Under a canopy of dogwoods shedding pink confetti, 80 guests in rainbow pins and linen suits. Isaiah flew in as best man, his speech a roast wrapped in heart. Alex always was the dramatic one, running off to LA, kissing family, coming back with stories that'd make Hemingway blush. But Elijah, you grounded him, made him ours. Laughter rippled, tears too. Elijah's vows simple. You shook my world, Alex. And I'd do it again. Honeymoon in Big Sur, clifftop cabin, waves crashing below like applause. They hiked trails David and Frank once trod, piecing histories from faded photos Isaiah had mailed. Think they watched us from up there? Elijah asked one dusk, tangled in sheets, salt air drifting through open windows. Alex traced his husband's jaw, husband, the word still electric. Nah. They're too busy dancing. Peace settled. Hard won. Back in Brooklyn, routines rooted. Alex's studio in the living room, sketches evolving to murals for queer youth centers. Elijah's promotion to department head, curriculum weaving in stories like there's reunions, revelations. Isaiah's calls became weekly updates on the Echo Park Community Hub, now thriving with art classes, support groups, a wall of portraits. Sarah beaming, David and Frank arm in arm from a 90s Pride March, dug from Frank's attic. One fall, Isaiah visited weekend pass from his new boyfriend, a tattoo artist named Marco with sleeves of intricate vines and a laugh like thunder. He's good for me, Isaiah confessed over beers at their local dive. Jukebox crooning Tracy Chapman. Steady. Calls me on my shit. Elijah grinned, arm slung over Alex's chair. Like you do for us. Marco fit seamless. Sunday brunch at their spot. Mimosas flowing. Stories swapping. Isaiah's garage tales. Marco's Inc. horrors. That one guy wanted a dragon on his ass. Regretted it sober. But undercurrents stirred. Sarah's estate had yielded a final box. Delivered late. Letters, unsent, bundled with rubber bands. Alex opened them alone one rainy Tuesday. Elijah at school. Pages spilled, David to Alex, son. If you're reading this, know I loved you wild. No holds barred. Sarah to Isaiah, you were the light I didn't deserve. Frank's journal entries on fatherhood's quiet joys. Tucked in a photo. Creased, David and Frank. Young and shirtless on a Malibu beach. Arms around toddler Alex and infant Isaiah. Waves lapping ankles. Alex's breath caught. He hadn't known they met. The halves bridged early. Tears blurred. But he smiled love. Messy. Banning. He framed it for the hub. Shipping with a note. For the wall. Proof we're all connected. Isaiah's reply, perfect. Marco says it's art. Life's dramas didn't cease. Elijah's scare with a student crisis. Alex's gallery show flopping then surging via viral tweet. But they weathered. Therapy a biweekly anchor. Holidays rotated. Thanksgiving in Echo Park. Tamales and Elijah's Mac. Christmas in Brooklyn. Tree strung with Sarah's ornaments. On their third anniversary, Alex planned surprise, dinner at the ramen joint, then a walk to the Brooklyn Bridge, lights strung like stars. But Elijah flipped it, tickets to LA, Isaiah's hub fundraiser. Full circle, he said, kissing Alex under the bridge's glow. The event was magic, loft space aglow. Queer kids showcasing murals of fractured hearts mended gold. Isaiah emceed, Marco at his side, pride radiant. Alex and Elijah donated a piece. Abstract swirls of blue and green, oceans merging, secrets surfacing. After rooftop party, LA skyline jagged, stars faint but fierce. Isaiah pulled Alex aside, beers in hand. You happy, bro? Stupid happy, Alex clinked. You, getting there. Isaiah's eyes softened. Thanks for everything. The shake-up made me who I am. Ditto, hug tight, brother to brother. Elijah joined, Marco too, the four toasting, to worlds shook and rebuilt. Later, hotel bed, overlooking the sprawl, Elijah whispered, this life's ours. No more ghosts. Alex nodded, heart full. Just us. Forward. Years layered on, adoptions talked, a kid, maybe two. Rainbow family dreams. Isaiah's wedding to Marco. Alex officiating under jacarandas. The hub expanding. Chapters in Chicago. Austin beacons for the lost. 50. Alex reflected over coffee. Gray at temples. Lines from laughter. Elijah beside. Hand in his. Worth the shake? Elijah asked, echoing old calls. Every tremor. Alex kissed him. Slow. Isaiah visited that week. Kids in tow, his and Marco's. Via surrogate. Little David. With dad's grin. Sarah. Fierce-eyed. Uncle Alex. Chaos of Legos and stories. Elijah corralling with mock sternness. Dinner sprawled. Chili. Mac. Tamales, legacies blended. Toasts rose. To Sarah's forgiveness. David's hidden loves. Frank's quiet strength. Elijah's anchor. As plates cleared, Isaiah leaned in. The secret, best gift. Shook us, sure. But built unbreakable. Alex nodded. Elijah's fingers laced in his. Kids giggling nearby. The world, once fractured, gleamed whole, human, flawed, loved deep. In the end, it wasn't happily ever after, but humanly ever messy reunions, betrayals mended, romances rooted in truth. American as apple pie cracked open, spilling sweet and tart. And in that spilling, grace.